Welcome to this explainer. We all experience time day in and day out, but what actually happens when time physically drifts? Today, we're exploring a truly fascinating anomaly of timekeeping, one that's derived directly from the rich traditions of Hindu astrology and mythology. Because when we look back at ancient systems of tracking the days, we find these incredible intersections of math and meaning. And that brings us to a really fundamental question. What happens when our calendars just don't align? Human history is full of attempts to accurately track the movements above us, primarily the sun and the moon. But here's the grand cosmic problem. These two massive celestial bodies, they don't operate on the exact same schedule. The math simply doesn't add up perfectly. So when the days drift, how do complex astrological systems compensate? Section 1, the 13th month, introducing the astrological anomaly. So, we're all pretty much hardwired to expect a standard 12-month year guiding our lives, right? Well, Hindu astrology brilliantly solves this timekeeping mismatch by introducing a 13th, a completely extra month into the calendar year. Just imagine that for a second. The concept of an entire extra month literally added to your year to hit the mathematical reset button on time itself. It is a bold, fascinating astrological solution. Now, this extra period of time actually has a name. It's known primarily as Malamasa, though you might also hear it called Adhik Mas or Purushottam Mas. But whether you use one name or another, they all refer to the exact same dedicated block of time in both Hindu astrology and mythology. It's a specific period created solely to fix a discrepancy up in the sky. Let's move on to Section 2, aligning the calendars. The functional purpose. Okay, let's look at the actual astronomical necessity here, bridging the mathematical gap between the moon and the sun. Here's the deal. A lunar year, which obviously tracks the moon's phases, is roughly 354 days long, but a solar year, tracking the Earth's orbit around the sun, is 365 days. So if you don't reconcile that roughly 11-day gap, your lunar months are eventually going to completely drift away from their intended seasons. Malamas is born out of this strict functional need to bridge that growing gap. So how often do we actually need to fix this growing 11-day gap? Exactly every 3 years. Every third year, this astrological system essentially injects a whole new month just to catch the lunar calendar back up to the solar one. It's an elegant, rhythmic correction to our orbit. By consistently adding this 13th month on this specific 3-year cycle, the ancient system acts like a giant cosmic reset button. It ensures that the lunar and solar cycles remain in perfect harmony over the span of centuries. It's a highly practical, repeating mathematical correction that quite literally keeps the fabric of time intact. Which brings us to Section 3, 2 myths of reverence, meaning beyond the math. You see, the story of Malamasis isn't just a dry equation. It's actually woven through 2 main myths in Hindu tradition that provide a beautiful spiritual framework. According to belief, because this extra month didn't have a designated ruling deity like the other 12 standard months do, it was initially kind of maligned and considered impure. While seeking help, the personified month approached Lord Vishnu. Moved by its plight, Vishnu not only accepted the month, but he assigned it his own name, Purushottam, elevating it to the absolute highest status. These stories take what is essentially a simple calendar adjustment and elevate it into a period of profound spiritual reverence. The math dictates the schedule, sure, but the mythology gives that time its soul. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. How does your calendar shape your mythology? Seriously, consider how the rigid, mathematical structure of timekeeping can profoundly shape belief and cultural reverence. Malamas is a perfect reminder that the necessity of aligning the stars doesn't just keep our seasons in check. It can actually define the sacred stories we tell and the reverence we hold. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep exploring how the structures of our world shape the meaning within it.